All right. What's the topic of discussion here?
I don't know yet, but we have merch coming.
It's true.
We do.
What's the website called?
I'll look right now. It's not up yet, but it probably will be by the time this is up.
If it ever gets out.
It's gonna be theforbiddencastle.com.
Hey.
That's dirty.
And I can put like a little screen recording of the website up there.
Oh, yeah.
See, Hunter.
Bye, Hunter.
That's our
Companion.
that's our Jamie of the podcast.
Yeah.
Just turns on the cameras when we need him. So, what's the plan after this? We're gonna go ice bath, right?
Jump off a cliff.
Okay.
Actually.
And then ice bath.
And then ice
Yeah.
bath.
How about we? What's been going on with everybody? I mean, what's going on with you? How you been, Russ?
Been good. I just finished my summer class, and now I'm basically just have a month off before school starts, so it's nice.
Good guy.
We just finished summer league.
Wait, did you finish your? You just finished your class?
Mm-hmm.
So you handed in that last project.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
We finished our last basketball tournament in the summer of our lives yesterday.
Yes, we did.
It was pretty euphoric.
It was a good time.
Summer's a lot.
Yeah.
Normal season's fine. But
So basically now you guys have Nick has football.
Yep.
Me and Dylan is
just phonies.
phonies. He's a phony.
Pretty much.
So yeah, basically, and then I was gonna say, before we came here, we had a little dirty lift leg day. It was very rough. Hunter, puked, and then he went to bed on the floor. I don't know. You didn't see that
In the
no.
bathroom.
Yeah,
So fun.
take a nap quick.
Yeah,
but,
didn't one.
yeah.
Russ, you were talking about the pheromones, like perfume. Was it?
Yeah. Talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yes.
There's like basically perfumes, not even really perfumes, just like scents that both sexes can buy that can attract the other sex. I don't know how I came across that, but
Do you know what produces the pheromones? Like naturally, like why is it like a cue for like if that people are attracted to it? You know, because like most things, there's a reason why people attract. Like why would do you know?
I don't know in particular. I think it's just like a mating thing.
Well, yeah. Does it maybe show fertility, or that they're like
Oh well, I guess it would, because most of the compounds are very similar to steroid compounds, like at least in males. So if you have a higher like testosterone level, you're gonna secrete more of those pheromones in your sweat.
That's what I would guess, because like things like most cues when it comes to like mating and stuff like that, like say for men, like shoulder to width to hip like ratio, that just like shows like you're more testosterone, more masculine, and like vice versa for women, like if the big hip to waist ratio, if that's more like that's like the number one thing I think that men find attractive in women, like generally.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like
It
all
has
that,
to do
like-
with that.
All that stuff has to go back to fertility, so that's interesting.
Mhm.
So I'm guessing that's why pheromones are attractive.
Yeah, 100%. It's kind of interesting though. It's kind of weird that someone could apply that. Makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Like, is that like a make or break type of thing? Like, I mean, if
No, it's just like I'm assuming the effects are actually quite subtle, but
yeah,
That'd be really cool.
no, because I have heard stuff like people say like don't put on too much cologne because like you want like your pheromones to like still be out there. Like you don't want to just like absolutely drown yourself. I don't know. Have you heard that?
interesting.
No.
You haven't heard that? Maybe I'm just a
No.
big loser over here. I've just heard that like I don't know, like on Snapchat story or something like that.
I have
I don't know
heard
how
people say don't put on too much cologne, but
Yeah.
probably just because it can be too strong.
Yeah,
Unless it's pheromone clone.
Yeah.
exactly.
You can overdo
Never.
that, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you probably can, but I don't know.
I'm gonna have to buy some of that tonight.
Did it
I won't.
have a price on it? Like how much was that?
Yeah, one bottle I saw was. It depends on the product. There was one bottle that had 4 compounds in it. And that was like $49. There's another one with 1 or 2 compounds I saw for like $23.
It's not bad,
It's
honestly.
very cheap, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, we've been basketball. Pheromone cologne.
Yep.
What were you gonna talk about? You said you wanted to talk
Oh,
about something.
I was watching. Dude, I swear every time I bring up something it has to do with Joe Rogan or either, like Jordan Peterson, but I was watching Joe Rogan's podcast and they're talking about, what's his name? I think I brought up to you at basketball practice the other day. You know who Charles Manson is, the Sawaska guy,
Yeah.
the killer? Apparently he was involved in what's it called, the
MK Ultra.
MK Ultra, like CIA or FBI, I'm not sure.
It's CIA, the mind control.
Yeah, the CIA, like called the MK Ultra trials or something like that. And where they would give these people LSD.
Yeah.
And he was involved in that, and that's like majority of the reason that he was the way he was and did the things he did. And they try to figure out how to like give mind control, and they would give that to other people and like you get followers. Like,
Was this before or after he was convicted? I'm not.
Before he killed anybody.
That's why he killed people.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
That's what they're saying. Yeah, I mean, like I don't know exactly 100% if this is accurate, but like this is what I've heard, and I think Ted Kaczynski too. I think he was also involved in the.
Where'd you hear this?
On Joe Rogan, they're talking about it. Joe was talking about it.
And that was before he went.
I think so. If you want to look it up, I mean,
That would probably make sense. I mean, because he was a very like smart. I mean, a lot of people are smart and they can go crazy. I'm not saying they can't go crazy, but his credentials and like his career like would not indicate like such a personality. You know, like,
he's saying something? Yeah, because like his brother was normal. Because it wasn't his brother who turned him in.
I think I'm not sure.
Yeah, but like that makes a lot of sense. Like it's a person just like you said, he has credentials. He's a normal person. He's very like academic. He's like a scholar, and just out of nowhere, just like what did he exactly do? I don't like. I get like Ted Bundy and Ted Kaczynski mixed up, which is which.
Kaczynski sent bombs to
That's okay.
a lot of governmental buildings. Yeah.
Was he the Unabomber?
Oh yeah, I watched.
I think
Is that
that's a
who-
Unabomber.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Because I get those mixed up.
Ted Bundy just
Murdered people,
yeah.
and a lot of females find him attractive. Apparently, you hear that?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Oh my god, he's so hot."
I think there's a show on Netflix that I watched about him.
Yeah, it
And-
has what's his name? Zac Efron.
Yeah. It's really
I
good.
haven't seen it, but I like saw it.
I feel like he didn't really exhibit too much of like the dark triad traits either, which is weird. Like, you know what I mean?
Kaczynski or Bundy?
Bundy.
No, that's the thing with that whole case is that like he was just a completely normal guy. Like he had a family and everything.
That's
But
so,
then he'd just like go out into different states and murder people.
that's just so
But-
weird. Like, what makes someone do that? Like, it has to be some motive. Like, did they figure out? Like, I don't know. I don't know what happened in the cases.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, it was basically just psychopathy for the most part. Like,
Yes.
I'd
have to be.
assume. I'd assume that'd be the most the biggest factor in that.
So,
You
like,
have
what-
to be a psychopath.
What exactly did Ted Bundy? He just killed people.
But he like mutilated them,
Yeah.
like cut their limbs off and stuff like that. Yeah, not a good guy.
good guy.
What's the name of the plane guy who like hijacked or whatever?
Oh, my
DB
God,
Cooper. I was gonna
DB
bring it up.
Yeah.
What you watching?
He's such a stud.
No,
DB Cooper.
You know that one movie? What's it
Oh,
called?
Oh, that's the guy who stole all that money.
Yeah,
He
I
went
watched
onto
it.
it was like 1972. He went onto a plane.
Yeah.
He said he handed the stewardess a note. It said, "I have a bomb in my briefcase," and then he said, "Like, come sit next to me." And then he told her to go to the cockpit, and he said, "I need 4 parachutes and $200,000 cash, which is equal to like $1 million now." And then they landed the plane. He let everybody off except the crew. He got the 200,000 as parachutes. They went back up, and they were going from like Seattle to Reno in Nevada, I think.
Yeah.
And then when they went over like Oregon or something, the cabin pressure just changed. So they're like, okay, the stairs are open, and he just jumped out.
Wasn't like a big.
Did he have a parachute?
Yeah,
Wasn't
he asked
a
for
big-
4. The whole thing was like he asked for 4 of them, so that they couldn't give him a fake one, because they didn't know if they were gonna use like to throw a hostage out with him. But he never hurt anybody.
Wasn't a big fact. Wasn't there like a storm as well during this?
Yeah, he jumped out during a storm, middle of night. It's raining. They're over mountains, in the middle of a forest.
Yeah, and they've
They never found a parachute, anything.
Oh, didn't they find some money?
$6,000
That's it.
just buried in a beach.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. I think they're like pouring concrete or something like that, and like I don't know, maybe something.
No,
it was like it was some project or something.
Yeah,
like
I
that.
started watching a series
I
on
wa-
Netflix about it too.
Yeah, I watched a YouTube video about it
Yeah.
a while ago.
And it was something like some dude said that he was DB Cooper,
Yeah,
and then he's like, yeah, there's gonna find $6,000 like tomorrow, buried in the sand or something, and then
Yeah.
they did, but it wasn't DB Cooper,
But
and DB Cooper wasn't even his name. I guess he wrote Dan Cooper
yeah.
on the card, but they just came up with DB Cooper.
Oh,
Apparently, he was like a hero.
Actually,
Yeah, like no, people loved him.
why?
Because he didn't hurt anybody. He was just
Oh,
he was
like-
just a stud. Everyone's like, yeah, we
Oh,
love
yeah.
DB Cooper. They were like celebrating him in bars and stuff. Like,
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I thought you meant like beforehand, like
Yeah.
like his actual like who he was, like he's
No.
like a war veteran or something.
I don't
No.
think they know who he is.
Yeah, no, because I remember watching a YouTube video a while back about it, and they said like they had like 3 like people.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say like the Zodiac shit too.
Oh my
That's
God.
wild.
that
That's-
movie was insanely good.
Because like just like the DB Cooper, like they never figured it out. They don't know who the Zodiac.
DB
they-
Cooper is the only unsolved plane hijacking in American history.
Well, I bet there's not that much. I mean-
Hijackings? There used to be a lot of
I mean, like-
hijackings, I guess,
Really?
before 9/11. Because I guess they were saying that it used to be just like going to like a bus stop.
Yeah.
You just walk in, write your name down, hop on a plane.
I remember hearing like it's like a bunch of old people talk about like how like everything is like so regulated now. Cause like back then before 9/11, I mean like understandably you have something like that.
Well, yeah, you don't want them to.
Yeah, like
fly
they
in
just
the-
like go on there and like do whatever they want. But now it's just like super regulated.
Yeah. No, there used to be like not be metal detectors, anything. I guess.
Just go walk on.
Yeah,
the
you just
plane.
walk onto a plane. I guess people in like Japan all
Just
the
like-
time they would do it for political
It's like,
reasons.
you got a gun on you? Oh, okay, you get on.
Oh, you're chilling.
It's good.
I don't know if this was. I think it was in the documentary, the DB Cooper one. It was just talking about how people in Japan, like a group of political activists in Japan, hijacked a plane with samurai swords
What?
in like the 70s.
Jesus.
Wow.
Good for them.
Yeah, those are good guys.
Samurai.
So we're taking an ice bath after this, right? Correct.
Yeah, we might have to go buy some ice, but
Yeah.
we just got a 100-gallon water trough. We're gonna fill it with ice.
Yeah.
It's filled with water already.
Do you know what's the study or like what Andrew Huberman was talking about in regards to cold exposure? It's like the details of it.
I'm not too familiar with it. You guys actually might know more than me.
Okay, well I remember he was stating on his podcast, Andrew Huberman, what's it called?
Deliberate cold exposure.
No, like I'm saying his podcast, what's it called?
Oh, Huberman Lab.
Huberman
yeah.
Lab. Good resource. Watch it if you want to learn about just like general like
Health.
health biology. What do you say his
I think I think he might be a neurobiologist.
you know, something like that, I don't know. But it's like the human body involved.
Kind of like
with health.
biohacking almost.
Yeah, but
Not like that, but
yeah,
Like-
yeah, whatever. But he said that you should. I think it was 11 minutes a week only, which just seems weird, but 11 minutes a week of cold exposure. So just like add it up 11 minutes a week. So you could do like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then 4 minutes again.
like cold to the point where like,
Yeah, like-
you're miserable sitting in
Yeah,
it.
cold to the point where he said this is the way he said it always is like where you're in it and you want to get out. Where you just want to get out, but it's just still safe to stay in. So I don't know what that like really with like temperature, but it's like you should be uncomfortable. You should want to get out. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
And what's like was it 2.5 times dopamine afterwards?
No. So that might have been the increase. I think it was 2.5 or 3, but but that's basically irrelevant without the time frame. So this is what I found significant. I don't remember the exact time frame, but it was something crazy, like 4 to 8 hours or somewhere in between. There is how long this like increase of dopamine lasted, which is very insane. Like,
Well, in comparison, nicotine
That's what I
and
was gonna-
sex are both a 2 times increase.
yeah, but like in an
So-
orgasm, compare that, like that's literally a couple seconds. Well, like
Yeah.
we're having, you're obviously you can't compare it to that level. I don't think it'd be 2.5 for that long, 'cause, you know what I mean?
It probably
Yeah.
like gets to 2.5 and then slowly
Yeah,
slopes off. But,
but
still,
it's
like
still
the
it's
fact that it
increased for that
gets it-
long.
Still significant. I mean,
it's more of an increase than
yeah,
sex, nicotine.
which is I remember. But also one thing is if you're like weight training and you're trying to like gain muscle and like try to like tear muscle tissue and try to gain weight, you shouldn't do a cold plunge right after your workout, because then they'll reduce inflammation, which is the exact opposite you want to do. So make sure not to do that unless like 4 hours, you say, afterwards. Then it's around safe to do it. But what's like interesting is, which makes you like realize, is that cold plunges, you can do cold showers though afterwards, because they're not nearly as effective. I mean, they still like give the dopamine, I'm pretty sure, but not to the extent of the cold plunge or ice bath. But you can do a cold shower after weight training sessions, because it still doesn't affect your
inflammation.
It doesn't reduce the inflammation that much. So cold showers are good, but if you have the opportunity to do ice bath, those are more significant and better. So
the whole inflammation thing makes sense too, because there some supplement companies actually sell products to like specifically cause inflammation. Like there's a compound by an enhanced athlete called arachidonic acid, and it literally just inflames your tissue.
It's interesting.
Would so a sauna right after a workout, that would be fine. Because saunas heat doesn't decrease inflammation; it just increases blood flow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that would actually probably help you grow muscles to some degree.
Yeah,
I know.
Maybe not significantly, but
it most definitely probably wouldn't be significant. But I mean, I wouldn't dismiss it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we wouldn't say that you're gonna be massive if you sauna after lifting, but
it's good to do. Like we've sauna multiple times after workout. I try to like do it as much as I can. If like we work out and we want to, like we were gonna sauna today, but Hunter was about to throw up. But
yeah, we didn't.
Yeah, sauna. Was one study also by Andrew Huberman, the growth hormone one. It wasn't like 2. It was like 2 hours of sauna. Wasn't it?
It was 2 hours, like 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off, and like 195 degrees Fahrenheit, and then the 11-minute. Not 11-minute. Maybe there's not even a cold exposure part of it, but something like that, and it increases your growth hormone production by 16 times.
Yeah.
But that's for like that day.
Yeah. If you continually do it, like I remember, did you say
it
that?
goes like from 16, 8, 4, 2.
Yeah, which is interesting. So you don't want to, I remember him talking about that. It's like, you don't want to sound it too much if you're going to for the growth hormone. You don't want to sound too much. You want to limit it. Like you don't want to sound it every day. Like maybe, I think it was like 2 to 3 times a day. He does it.
Yeah, but they're different protocols.
Yeah, exactly. There's different protocols, different aspects, like what you want. Like but specifically if you want more growth hormone, I think you don't want to do it as much.
No, and another Andrew Huberman podcast thing, I watched one on stretching, and the best protocol for stretching, he says, is you do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off for 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes for each stretch that you're doing.
Yeah.
And do that for as many stretches as you want. And that's the most optimal stretching.
Interesting.
Yeah, I did that, and I must have released some lactic acid or something, because I felt like death for the rest of the day.
Yeah. I've been starting to do yoga every once in a while, like when I can, like in the morning. And that honestly helps. Like, I guess it's a good way. Like, honestly feels really great if you do yoga. It's like, sounds like I don't know. It's like, it's not like a manly thing to do yoga. Like, but like, it's very like healthy and it feels great, honestly.
Mentally and physically.
Yeah.
It's
Another
calming.
thing he always talks about is the number one thing, if you want to help someone, like an athlete or just in general, like improve the quality of life, is like sleep and stuff like that, going to bed early and like being awake for the day. And one thing that's interesting is what he does in the morning is right when he wakes up, he makes a beeline, he says, to outside sunlight.
30 minutes of sunlight exposure.
Yeah,
in the
20
morning.
minutes to 30 minutes of sunlight. I mean, depending how cloudy it is, he'll do more if he needs to.
Yeah.
But which really makes you awake. And I've been like doing that, like, because I'll do yoga first thing in the morning outside, and it does make a difference. You feel very energetic compared to like where you'd be drowsy. Yeah. And like little stuff like that, I feel like watch Andrew Huberman and stuff like that, like can just like honestly massively improve your quality of life. Like it's kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. But also another thing is like not drinking caffeine first thing in the morning, because it's what's it called, the adenosine blocker. That's what caffeine does.
Yeah, exactly.
And your adenosine system isn't even activated yet because you just woke up, which makes you tired. Is that correct?
So, yeah, for the most part.
You want to get into that?
Like you hit it right on the nail. I'm pretty sure. Like your adenosine isn't gonna be, like you don't have enough time for you like to get tired because you're just waking up, like your cortisol spikes and your adenosine system hasn't really activated yet. So, I mean, if you drink caffeine and you don't have any adenosine in your body, it's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's how it works, is by blocking adenosine. So you almost want more. The more adenosine you have in your body, the better the caffeine is gonna work. Yeah, it sounds weird, but that's how it is.
Another interesting thing he said is it not only will it work better, I think, but also it says that it will eliminate almost nearly the midday crash people experience from caffeine if you wait an hour and a half. I don't know for what reason, but that's what he claims. Like, so wait an hour and a half before you have caffeine, and that will make the crash go away apparently, as well.
Yeah.
Another thing is like for sleep quality also is, I feel like everybody knows this, but like no one actually puts into like use, is like avoid bright lights before you go to bed, because like it's very significant if you realize if you actually start like not going on your phone, like you just having your phone in bed. Mm-hmm. Like for an hour, like that's so bad. Light. Yeah. So get like blue light. I got blue light glasses. I don't know if. It seems to help, but I feel like just avoiding it altogether would be better.
Yeah. Well, because it messes with your melatonin.
Yeah.
Production. Because when you have light, it just sends signals to your brain that it's not time to go to sleep. So.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Another thing, about melatonin, actually, he said that you shouldn't be taking melatonin because it's like something to do with your hormones. Like, it mess up your testosterone. Like, there's actual studies on this. It sounds like a bro science thing, but I don't know the studies or what the actual details of it are. But it's along the lines of like, it's really bad to give your kids like melatonin. It apparently messes with your hormones and stuff like that. I don't know.
I can imagine.
It's
do you know what he's talking about? I wish I could.
I can't recall completely, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with like a growth pathway. That's from what I should look it up, honestly.
Yeah, look it up because that's important. Because I feel like a lot of people don't realize that, because he was stating it like it's a very obvious thing, but I was like thinking to myself, like, I don't think anyone knows that melatonin is like a bad thing you shouldn't do. But like he's like this is terrible for you. You should never give. It's like giving your kids like, I don't know.
Well, when you think about it, if you start taking testosterone and you increase testosterone, super whatever.
Physiological.
Yeah, if you get to like super physiological levels, it messes up your natural production of it. Mm-hmm. I can imagine it's the same thing for melatonin.
Yeah, I think I understand that, but I don't think it's even in regards to sleeping. I think it just generally like messes up your hormones. I don't know why. For whatever reason, synthetic melatonin is just really bad for you. So like he says to use other. I feel like the biggest thing you shouldn't need sometimes you may need a supplement with that, but I feel like generally if people exercise like 60 minutes a day, they don't have caffeine late at night. I mean, I do. I do that, but and don't see bright lights late at night. Then their your sleep quality will improve dramatically. Like, you shouldn't need to supplement, but like if you do, like what are some alternatives? It was like Valiant root.
Yeah, valerian root would be good. There's not, to my knowledge, anything else though that really compares to like the drastic effect of melatonin. Like, it works. Like, that's why people take it, but
it's just like covering up the issue though. You gotta go to the roots of it. Like, it's not that hard to if you just cut out caffeine, like I said, and all the other stuff, drastically. And that's the one thing he says. The number one thing if you want to improve your quality of life is get better sleep, because I'm sure everyone like knows it, but they don't actually do it.
And it's in today's world, it is kind of difficult with school, work,
exactly
everything the way the world works.
Everything's online too, so why wouldn't you be on your phone? Exactly. Why wouldn't you? I mean, you have this box here that can like give you a mass amounts of dopamine, and like why wouldn't you look at it before you want to go to bed? Like, it's just like, but you just people need to realize this stuff.
Yeah, it's like getting a hit of crack before you go to sleep.
What's interesting though is I remember he talked about also is Andrew Huberman, is when you go on your phone and stuff like that. Initially, there's a boost of dopamine. But eventually you start scrolling and you don't even get any more dopamine anymore. You just keep doing it anyways, though.
Yeah, it's like the same thing with the rat study with the cocaine, where they push the buttons to get more they push a lever to get more cocaine. Like, they'll keep pushing it, but the dopamine stays at normal level at a certain time.
It's like the definition of addiction, is that not? Like,
When
I think how Andrew Huberman described addiction is the slowly the degrading of things that you find enjoyable, and it's just like slowly narrows to that one thing. That's what I think. That's what he defined it as, or something. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but
No, another thing that I believe improves the quality of sleep, there are studies on like when you should form habits. So you should have like 6 habits that you want to work on, and then you should try to accomplish 4 in a day. And then I guess this is more regards in like dopamine levels, but you should do in the first 9 hours of being awake, you should have perform like linear habits. So just like step by step things. So I don't know what an example of that would be. But
what is a linear habit?
it's just like set in stone steps.
Oh, like it's not. There's no ambiguity. It's just
There's no creativity.
oh yeah, no.
It's just like straight line, like
Like a walk.
like I need to like wash your face. You just need to
yep, like
wash your
do the
face.
dishes or something.
Yeah,
something
okay.
like that. You want to add
Yeah.
that, or shower.
yeah.
You want to take cold showers. That's an example of a linear habit.
Okay.
And then from hours 10 to 16 or 17, you should be performing like creative habits. So if you want to make a habit of writing, you should do that in 10 to 16 hours of being awake.
What would reading?
Oh yeah,
would reading fall?
Huberman talked about this too.
Yep.
That was very interesting.
Would reading fall into the creativity?
No,
I think
It's not making like your mind.
but I think you would read after because your body's in a more calm state.
Okay.
you might be able to.
They're
It's hard to say, but like, I don't know, because a lot of like people, like for example, with like ADHD or something, and like they as soon as they become stimulated, like they're not gonna put down a book. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's the one thing that's interesting about ADHD. I remember Joe Rogan was talking about it, or he might have brought it up as well. Is the misconception is that they can't focus at all, which is true about most stuff. But if they find something that they're genuinely interested, they can't stay away from it. They get too much focus. They get tunnel vision on something like that. So if you have ADHD, you'll just absolutely focus on something.
yeah,
Which is, I feel like people don't understand that.
yeah.
And then another thing with habits is that you're not supposed to reward yourself immediately. It's what I forget what the term he had was, but it's like random delayed gratification or something,
Yeah.
something like that.
I think I'm hearing the same thing. Actually.
Yeah, and then it was just like you randomly reward yourself for completing tasks. Like say you like read, you shouldn't be like, "Oh, I read, I'm going to go eat some cake or something."
Yeah.
To reward your dopamine system. You shouldn't do that. And also when you're building a habit, the best way to do it is to have failures. And he said the ratio of it is 85% success to 15% failures when you're building a habit, because then pathways build better in your brain because you do learn better from failing. But too much failing is a negative,
Oh yeah.
and
That's
not enough
interesting.
is a negative.
That's very interesting.
Plus or minus 2% on that.
Yeah, I think I heard the
It
same
makes a
thing.
lot of sense.
What was I think I talked about it with you guys the other day at basketball, but the thing about how Andrew Tuman was talking about how children would write in, not write, they would draw pictures, and they like to draw stuff in like the nursery or preschool, I think it was. And they draw by themselves. But when the parents started rewarding them, and then they stopped rewarding them, the kids wouldn't want to draw anymore after they stopped getting the rewards. Like they would just stop doing it. The thing that they already did by themselves, but like now that the lack of rewards they have that's present, they wouldn't do that. Which
So
is
you shouldn't reward your kid for doing something that they decided to do on their own.
I think,
Essentially.
yeah. I think I think it's also, I don't know exactly, but I think that it's just an example of that. Rewards can be dangerous. You shouldn't always useless rewards should not be like applied, because that can hurt someone.
Yep.
Even like your kids, like when you grow older, you're not gonna be getting compliments and like all these things, like all these generous like things that you normally get from your parents when you're like a baby, like playing basketball or something. They're like, oh, good shot. But like as you get older, it's just like a little clap, like. And I feel like some people struggle with that, I guess. Like
I feel like you shouldn't have to rely on a compliment or a reward from someone else. Like to do a certain thing, you should generally just do it because you enjoy it.
Yeah.
I feel like that somewhat teaches that if you reward them, like say like a participation trophy. I don't know. Like that's stupid. I feel like a lot of people agree with that. Like it's kind of dumb.
Participation.
I have a weird opinion on like the whole like enjoyment thing. Like, what was I gonna say? Like everyone says, like, oh, you should do things that make you happy and do things that you would like enjoy. It's like, in my opinion, like it's like the complete opposite. Like you don't want to, like, it's not, the goal is not to be like happy or find that, or to enjoy something. It's just like in the long term, it should be for like just complete fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know, it just puts you higher in
Well,
confidence hierarchy, really.
The thing is, it's not sustainable as well. I mean, you can all realize like you're not going to be happy 24/7. Just like literally not possible.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing you should chase is fulfillment.
Yeah.
But also, this one, I don't know who it was, but I was watching this podcast one time, and this guy was talking about how he lives his life. He said that he would spend the majority of your life like unconscious. Like you're not consciously thinking about everything you're doing. You know, you're not like consciously making decisions. The majority of the time, you're doing that. I don't know what percentage, but a majority of the time, you're just not thinking. You know,
You're making subconscious
yeah.
decisions.
And he said, but whenever you have that time, where you have the conscious times when you can think stuff like that, he says he tries to do the hardest thing and try to do hard things, because when it comes to unconscious times, then it's easier. You don't have to think, but like when you have the ability to choose to do the harder things, just because like you have the ability to do that, and it's gonna make the rest of your life easier, which makes sense to me. And I've tried to put that to practice a little bit. So that's what.
That makes sense.
I feel like people stray away too much nowadays of just like doing harder stuff. Like, yeah, like you can. I mean, society's really easy nowadays. Like you don't. It's different. It's not like it's not easy. It's the hardships are different.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like physical hardships. They're like fulfillment hard. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like
because I feel like if you imagine like going back to like the Great Depression, it's like maybe that's a bad example, but like it was just more like physically difficult things. Like the jobs you worked were just physically, they're very labor intensive. But now it's more like, what job do I work?
Yeah, exactly, like a desk job or like stuff like that. But I feel like as a man, I mean as a woman too, but like generally as like a man, I feel like you need to do more physical like stuff. You need to do some hard things. Like you need to exert yourself, because like, it's like kind of what you're hardwired to do. Like it's what we evolved from, being hunters, stuff like that. And I feel like people are straying away from that, almost straying away from like traditional gender roles. I mean, it doesn't need to be absolutely traditional, but I'm saying like there is some biological hardwiring we have that if we try to stray away from, we're just going against our nature.
Mm-hmm.
So in regards to like physical exertion, I feel like people are trying to stray away from that, and it's like not. You can see it affect people. I feel it's not.
Haven't
good.
we talked about how that decreases testosterone?
I am not sure.
There are certain things that you can do that'll decrease testosterone, and there's certain things like doesn't weightlifting increase testosterone?
Yeah, it does. But like the whole, like I was saying earlier, it all depends on the length of the increase. If it's an acute increase, like that's nice, but like it's not gonna have a systemic effect for a prolonged period of time. You know.
Yeah. But no, like I feel like everyone should. They don't need to weightlift, but they need to do some physical exertion, like 60 minutes. I think. I don't know what
exercise.
Yeah,
and even if it's yoga.
Yeah, yoga.
Even you do
yoga is hard.
100 push-ups.
Yoga is really difficult. People can shit on yoga all they want, but that shit's hard. Like
Even
sometimes
like,
I'd rather do a hard weightlifting session compared to yoga. Like
no,
that.
some of the like the yoga we do for basketball.
Oh my god.
That boho lady.
Yeah,
You just feel bad about yourself.
it's very hard. Imagine we should do hot yoga one time. It was wanting to lose.
So nice.
That sounds miserable, to be honest.
So
I'd
that's
try
the whole
it, though.
point though.
You'd like
You just
suffer.
suffer.
No, we still have to go do our sensory deprivation tank.
That shit's scary.
I'm doing the 2-hour session.
That shit's
I have
scary,
to.
dude. Would you do that, Russ? Sensory deprivation tank.
I'd probably do it. Yeah.
You hear
I
Joe
would-
Rogan? He had
He had
he hallucinated while he was
Yeah.
doing it that he was like in the jungle with a tribe, and they're speaking a language that he's never heard before, and then he's like, "Oh my god, I understand their language."
Oh my god.
But it was a language he's never heard before, but he understood it
That's
in his
just
hallucination, and he just
terrifying.
snapped out of it.
That's weird.
And I'm hoping that happens, to be honest. That would be so cool.
Oh, dude, that just scares the shit out of me. I hate that.
That'd be awesome.
You can get out though anytime. I'm sure. Like
No, they lock it. I'm just kidding.
like I know what I'm just trying to say is like I'm sure it's not hard for you to like instantly get out if you wanted to.
You could probably just slide a door open.
Exactly.
Because it's a pod that they put you
Yeah.
in Duluth, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, you could just
You literally just sit there and float, correct?
Yeah, I think they give you earplugs.
And
It's
just
pitch black in there, and there's
salt water, because
high salt.
yeah,
It just like takes away all your senses. I mean, sensory deprivation. That's what it is.
Yeah,
So you just like don't
in the
even
name.
that's-
know you're living
no,
anymore.
No, exactly. The only thing that you have is your brain.
That's
and if
crazy.
you're
That's probably the ultimate dopamine detox.
just sitting in one of those for
Yeah.
30 days or what?
No, dude. I bet 2 hours.
Imagine.
I
you
bet
go-
that works wonders for your
Yeah.
brain.
All right. I need to take a piss quick because I have the bladder of a 4-year-old, but I'll be right
I
back
do
quick.
too, kind of.
You don't have to stop it. I'll just be right back. You don't have to pause it.
Okay.
Continue without me.
Good luck. We're going to try a 30-minute podcast. So this is the end of this episode. Thank you for watching. And we have merchandise coming. So check that out. Thank you.